Everything's great. Oh, yeah.
I have all the things.
Thank you very much. Uh-oh, terrible pour, terrible pour. Oh my God, terrible pour, and it's on film too. That is completely embarrassing. Hey YouTube, thanks for tuning in to another episode of a thing we like to call Economics on Tap. Do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. Do not miss an episode. Also, by the way, let us know what is in your glass, intoxicating or not. Take your pick. What I love is how the engineers are like taking control of this thing. There's no producer in my ear.
Great.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Daniel Ramirez on it.
Consummate professional. Welcome to Make Me Smart Daily Edition, where Kai and I try to make today make sense. And I love that we're like, there's daily editions, but there's different kinds of daily editions. The big show.
This is the best.
The Wednesday show, and then this is the best one.
Oh man, yeah, that's really true. It's a variety thing. It's the spice of life, as it were. So today is Friday. That's exactly right. Sonny and Cher. That's what I'm going to think of us now as. Anyway, so I got you, babe. Look, it's Friday. I'm only like 3 sips into my beer, and I can't even tell you how good it feels. It's a little thing we call Economics on Tap here on Fridays. I drink beer, Molly drinks whatever she's going to be telling us she's drinking. I today
other stuff.
am having, it's a local brewery called Three Weavers. It's down in Inglewood. I made a beer run last night. Went down and picked up some beer. This is an Even Sassier Hazy India IPA, 7.2 alcohol by volume. It's quite delicious. I've got several more in the fridge. You will only see me drinking one right now, but there will be more. So that's that. That's what I'm drinking. What are you drinking?
Is Even Sassier the name or like a description?
No. It's the name. Even Sassier.
Okay, got
Hazy
it.
India Pale Ale.
I thought you were going to be like I had a sassy one last Friday, but this is even sassier. And I was like, this is unexpected nomenclature. And
No.
I'm confused. I am actually, I'm having a mocktail today because I want to shout out to our non-drinkers because we've gotten some good emails. No, but for real.
Jerk.
No.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm going to be back at it in 1 hour,
Okay.
and
all right,
also next week. But I sincerely just wanted to say to our non-drinkers out there, because like on Facebook, they're putting their little notes in and saying orange juice and Pellegrino. One person said
Totally fair.
Pepsi and milk,
Yep.
which is like the grossest thing I've ever heard.
I'm sorry. What is that? Like Laverne and Shirley, Pepsi and milk?
Pepsi and
God.
milk is what Julie John said that she is drinking via Facebook.
I'm
So
gonna
that
get
is
hate mail
upsetting.
from
And then
Pepsi milk
also,
drinkers.
I just wanted to say, like, those we got a pretty heartfelt email from someone who's in recovery, and so I just wanted to be like, I see you. This is tough. So for today, I'm having ginger beer with a dash of blood orange bitters and some fresh squeezed lime, and it is delightful.
Excellent.
It's
refreshing.
delightful.
I
I was gonna do a julep, but my poor little mint plant, little homesteader over here, has just started to recover from the winter, and I was like, I can't denude it. I can't like take off every single tiny leaf.
But
So, I
mint
let it
grows
grow.
like it's going out of style, man. I mean, it's not. You're not going to run out of.
I suspect by next week I could make a julep, like no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sad about Derby
okay.
weekend. I love Derby weekend.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's tricky out here in LA, right? Because all these horses have been dying in Santa Anita, but it's the best 2 minutes in sports, as it were. Okay. So.
Okay. Let's do the news.
What? Let's do the news. You go first.
I read this piece in Brookings, and I felt like it was a thing that we've sort of been saying because there's been this whole conversation now about whether we should turn to austerity. Now, having helped a lot of corporations, a few small businesses, and some people for 1 month, we should cut it off at the and start thinking about debt. And so I was kind of happy to see this piece in Brookings argue, no, we can afford more stimulus. By William G. Gale, in which he says this is, quote, not the time to get wobbly, and that a lot of spending up front, the risks of doing too little now, far outweigh the risks of doing too much.
Yeah, virtually all mainstream economists will agree with that. It's the politicians who are getting weak in the knees, and specifically the GOP, right? I mean, let's call it what it is. But
I mean, look, you had Lindsey Graham
think it's
literally
interesting.
today, in the worst turn of phrase ever, say that it would be over their dead bodies that they would extend the $600 unemployment benefit. Yep.
God, that's
that
so
happened.
insane.
That happened.
Well, so all right. So
and
look. Yep.
So yeah. Nope. Please.
Well, yeah. So I was just you as we've talked about before on the Friday pod. I think you have to sit in your apartment in or is it house condo? What is it?
It's a house.
Not that matters.
It's a house.
Okay, it's a house.
Not that it matters.
You sit
Apropos
in
nothing.
your studio while I'm on the air, just in case my host on a rope thing blips out. So you heard this on the Wrap today in the show where I said to Kate Davidson, look, what is Congress freaking doing? And Kate Davidson pushed back gently and said, look, hang on a second. There's $3-something trillion into this economy. And I think it's widely recognized that Congress understands this. And I guess my point was maybe they understand it, but like the Senate's going to take up FISA reform next week. And there's a red line over aid to states, and they want businesses not to be liable. And I just think it's really interesting that there's a disconnect. And this was kind of the point I was trying to make. There's a disconnect between what is actually happening in the economy. Sorry, two disconnects. What is actually happening in the economy, and number one, the stock market, and number two, political America. It's bananas.
Yeah.
know?
I think that's really true.
just
And
think
I
it's
think
great.
that the stock
Yeah.
market may be contributing to the disconnect that's happening in Congress.
Yeah,
And
for,
look,
for sure. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. And you have, you have the Senate saying we're going to fly everybody back even though we don't have enough tests for everyone and we don't have social distancing measures and safety measures in place, with the stated goal mostly of confirming judges. And you have the House and Nancy Pelosi, because nobody's getting off the hook here. I mean, you have the House basically just like ran out of town, has not tried to figure out how to govern remotely at all.
Well, they've tried, but they failed, right? That's the deal.
I don't know.
They-
I mean,
they
they
have-
haven't,
they-
I guess,
well, they-
failed to implement remote voting, failed to like
But
do
look,
it.
I'm more inclined to cut them a little slack, actually, just because there's huge amounts of precedent involved and it's not constitutionally clear and all of that jazz. But the fact is,
Okay,
Congress
but
is sitting
Parliament's
around.
doing it.
Yeah, Parliament ain't
UK.
us. We fought a revolution for that, right? Didn't we have that conversation?
Okay, we
did.
fought a revolution for them to be like, we did it the old way for 700 years. And when the ish hit the fan, we figured out how to do it a new way. And we're like, ooh, I don't know, tradition. Not having it.
Okay, fine. All right.
Not
all right.
having it.
All
Anyway,
right.
go Brookings. We have the money.
Yes, that's right. Go. We do have the money. You know why we have the money? Because we can make money.
So
we
we can
control our
make the
currency,
money.
which is a whole different thing we got to talk about. Actually, we should really do. Sorry, did we already did MMT, right? Modern monetary.
No,
theory?
we haven't done it yet. We still have to do it.
Oh my God, we're like living
Yep.
through an MMT experiment here.
We were going to do it, and then we decided that everything else is so acute that it would be a little philosophical and hoity-toity to take
Yeah.
a detour into MMT at this exact moment. But I think we're getting closer,
Yeah, I think so
especially
too. Look,
now
if you hear a dog
that
by
we're
the way,
having
that's
this
one of mine.
conversation about debt.
Yeah, we're living an MMT experiment. Yeah, so this is Bonsai. She's just kind of wandering around.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I wish I could see her
Well, I
video
opened
right
it up,
now.
right? Well, you can't actually see her. She's walking around down on the floor.
Too short.
But the doors and windows are open here in my little space because it's 1,000 freaking degrees in my little room here. I was going to say something. I forget what it was. Let us move on, shall we?
MMT, the end.
Okay, yeah. MMT.
Take a note, producers.
Yes. So my item is this. It's a thing that Brian Moynihan, the CEO of Bank of America, said on CNBC today, and I heard it while I was writing the show at like 1-something LA time. And Bank of America, through its checking accounts and its credit accounts and all of this, is starting to see consumer spending edge higher, right, after the huge drop-off we had, which is interesting because I heard the phrase green shoots being bandied about yesterday in the various media that I follow. And I think it's really, really interesting that seems to be the way the conversation is turning. The curve, we are being told, has flattened in many places. States are opening up. And, oh, look, things are happening. And I just think that's really, really interesting. And it will redound to more states opening, more businesses trying to get back online, and more, and trying to recoup the losses, while we still don't necessarily have the virus under control. And that, for me, layperson, is problematic. You know?
I like how you say necessarily, and we don't
Yes.
at all have that. We do
Okay,
not
fine.
at all have the virus under control. Like we have,
Yes,
I
that.
don't even, I think when you look at the Financial Times charts are the ones that everybody passes around and is like, oh God.
Yeah.
And when you look at that chart, I mean, the United States has not even begun to meaningfully bend the curve. Like it's somewhat flattened, but the trajectory is still upward and it is not bending down, even in the States. And that is, you know, the CDC guideline is like, you've got to have some decline for 14 days.
Yeah.
And that's not, So, and there was some research out today too that said that the virus itself is likely to be with us for at least 2 years. And probably longer. I don't know if you saw the New York Times graphic today about vaccine development.
We're all going to have had it or been exposed or something, right? 2 years?
I mean, I guess it depends on what happens between now and then. But in theory, some of us will have had to. Yeah. I don't know. It's all, I think like the important thing to say is nobody knows what's going to happen. And it is still a long road, even though it feels like we've already been inside for an exhausting amount of time. And yes, there are green shoots and there's this and there's that. This is just the start of our new reality in a lot of ways.
So super quick, and then we'll move on. I was trading slacks with Kimberly Adams, one of our Washington correspondents, the other day about this, that, and the other. And we got to talking about our present circumstance. And she said, and we were talking about reopening and blah, blah, blah. And she said, I think one of the problems is we have not grieved what we've lost as we try to figure out what we're going to have back. And I think that's right? We haven't really admitted to ourselves that the before times are gone for 18 months, 2 years, right? Are you getting on a plane anytime soon? Are you going to go sit in a baseball stadium? Right? I mean, look, I am reasonably certain the good people who run Marketplace Productions are thinking about how and when to get us back to work. And I'm here to tell you that's going to be interesting and a little bit of a challenge. You know?
Yeah, it's anyway, we have yet to even see the change begin. No, I mean you're absolutely right. And weirdly, we're in this strange I don't know, middle place, like the Stranger Things place
it's like
right
purgatory
now
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, between kind of this ongoing, there was like a Harvard piece that called it anticipatory grief, where we were sort of like pre-grieving for all the pain that we were about to go through.
Yeah.
And then the realization that life is not going to, I mean, you know, this is a bit crude, but it's like sex after HIV. Like, it's not going to be the same. A lot of things are not going to be the same out of fear, out of the sheer reality of the spread of the virus. I mean, it is literally going to be life altering. And every conversation that we have about opening up acts like opening is not going to be a gerund that goes on for years and years. Yeah. What is that? No, you have a haunted house?
No.
That was an awesome, creaky.
As I said before, I've got the doors and the windows open here in my little place because it's super hot and I need a cross breeze. And that was the door just kind of slowly creaking closed.
I'm just saying that, I'm such a chicken that the fact that I said Stranger Things and then there was like a creepy door sound, like I got a little scared. I thought the monster might be behind me.
Oh, man.
I was like, oh, God.
Oh, man.
I looked around.
No, that was, sorry, I didn't know you could
No, that seems like a great place to hit the happy place.
Yeah. Let us hit the happy thing, Jeff. There we go. Oh my
Perfect.
Oh my God. Yours is better than mine. Mine is not a make me smile today. Mine is a make me what the bleep. I'm sure everybody's seen it. This Elon Musk news. He comes out today at 11 o'clock East Coast time and says, in my opinion, the stock price is too high. Speaking about the company that he runs, Tesla. And I, truly, as an observer of Elon Musk and you know, the company he runs and all this, I ask you, what is his game? Because he comes out and tweets this, and his share price drops 10%, cost the company $15 billion in market cap. Do you have thoughts on that?
Isn't it also like 1 year? I don't know this for sure, but I saw a tweet that was basically like it's 1 year to the day almost, I think, that he did his, you know, 420
thing.
The whole 420 tweet that was also investigated as potential stock market manipulation. But then it was followed by a series of, I mean, I don't know at this point if it's public theater or if it's a really, frankly, heartbreaking public meltdown. but it's not,
Yeah.
or a monster.
Sorry, that's
which
that's
it
the door.
clearly could be.
I don't know what to tell you. Sorry.
There could be a monster in his brain.
Yeah.
I think we have to consider that possibility.
He's such a
It's
weird
a body
dude.
snatcher.
He's such a weird. I mean, God bless him. Visionary, yada yada, blah blah blah. But he's just such a weird dude, and I just think that's interesting.
I saw a tweet the other day too that said, like, can you think of another executive who's done more self-imposed damage? Because
No,
he,
it's
he
unbelievable.
also is tweeting like crazy about free America now.
Yeah.
It's like a
Calls the
fascist
quarantine
shutdown and
fascist
on and
all
on.
that
And,
stuff. Yeah.
and it's like, listen, and I said this on a podcast that I guested on yesterday, like just anytime somebody tells you that they have all the answers in a time when nobody has any damn answers, consider their incentive.
Yeah.
And in the case of Elon Musk, if Tesla doesn't produce and distribute a whole bunch of Teslas, he doesn't get a $725 million payout.
See, that's why I brought this up, because you know the answer. Yeah.
Incentives.
There you go.
Yep.
Yep. Incentives matter.
My
All right,
Make
anyway,
Me
that's it.
Smile
What's yours?
is so great, and it is going to last you all weekend long.
Thank
so,
God.
full disclosure, had
Yeah.
this not happened, I wouldn't even be here right now because I would be in New Orleans for Jazz Fest, my most favoriteest time of the year. This Jazz Fest was supposed to have taken place this weekend and next, last weekend and this weekend. And WWOZ, which is the .org station in New Orleans, is basically doing a weekend long, and they did it last weekend too, stream that they're calling Jazz Fest at Home, Fest in Place.
Oh, nice.
Is what they're calling it. And so you can just they're streaming like all the artists who would have played, and dude, it is heartbreaking because it was going to be some kind of lineup. But frankly,
you know what's
it's
interesting
delightful.
is you are taking such advantage of the stream thing that I am not, but I just think that's cool that you're doing that.
Man, it's so great. And all it is, like, do you want me to pull it up? Because earlier I was just bopping around. It's like cool bass line. And Jazz Fest has all kinds of music. So it's not just jazz. You don't have to love jazz either, but it's just what.
I'm pushing the door open. I'm pushing the door open right now. Oh, and it's swinging back down. It's a little breezy down here. All right, I think we're done.
You know,
okay. I think we've
they do
passed
make
the
this
angle of
thing
incidence
called
here.
WWOs.
I know.
WD-40?
WD-40.
I got super confused trying to say WWOZ and
WWOZ.
WD-40 at the same time. But no, I got so excited about Fest in Place, and it's so lovely to listen to that I think I'm literally going to spend the weekend in like Fest clothes.
There you go.
With like feathers in my hair, listening to music and, light homesteading.
Fair enough.
So
Fair
join
enough.
me. It's going to be great. It's wonderful. Okay, that's it for us. The weekend begins. We will see you on Monday. Of course, you can listen to the whole week's worth of shows. You can hear the explainers on Echo devices. You can read the newsletter, or you can just turn it
stuff.
all off.
That's
and
what
listen to
exactly what
jazz.
I was thinking. Listen to jazz. If you want to, email us, makemesmart@marketplace.org. Put questions in the subject line, or don't, because we'll read it anyway. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you're feeling, because these are just messed up times. Messed up times.
We're thinking about you guys. Make Me Smart is produced and directed by Sam Anderson. Our digital producer is Tony Wagner. Our senior producer is Jody Becker. Ben Heathcote is our video producer. Our video intern is Ethan Peretz. And Erica Phillips writes our newsletter and our smart speaker skill.
Daniel Ramirez drove today. Our theme music was composed by Ben Tolliday and that very same Daniel Ramirez. The executive director of On Demand is Sator Nieves. The senior vice president and general manager is Deborah Clark. So there you go.
The senior vice president of general managering.
Yeah,
It's like a Dilbert title.
She's a 5-tool player.
I'm not even gonna lie. This is so delicious, this drink. And then I'm having it in my little cute my cute glass that's from a local glass blower.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
just lovely. I love
That's
the
super
Friday
cool.
thing. It's just getting real fun.
I know.